Hey guys, welcome back to the Blender series. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to import models into your truck. Specifically, I'll be going over interior add-ons, so items you can have on the dashboard of your truck. I'll be showing you the way I would import a mod. It is not the only way you can do this, but it's specifically the way I would use for my own methods. Since this video is specifically for Euro Truck and American Truck modding, and not a Blender series in general, I will not be showing you how to make models or how to do a custom UV map for each model. There are many tutorials which I will link in the description which you can use to find them, or you could download the model online, for example from Sketchfab. So to get started, like in the original videos, we're going to have a junk folder and we're going to have a brand new mod folder. Make sure the mod folder is empty. It does not matter about the junk folder, and of course we need our custom model. First, I'm going to import my model into Blender. Since my model is an OBJ file, I'm just going to go File, Import, and OBJ. Just going to navigate to that folder and import my model. As we can see from here, I already have the material set up alongside with the UV map. I'll link some guides in the description which I have used for UV mapping, which you may find helpful. So, with your model in Blender, I'm going to open another version of Blender, well, another instance. So we're just going to right click Blender, click Blender again, and now we have a new instance. So what I like to do, I like to import a model for reference so I know how big my model is going to be in game. So I'm just going to go to File, Import, Import SCS. As I always like to do, I will click on Base SCS in your Euro Truck game directory and add to the archive list. We are also going to set our SCS base path. So for the moment, I'm just going to click my junk folder and set the base path. Going to go back to my game directory and import base.scs. Since we're doing interior add-ons this video, I'm going to go into Vehicle, Truck, Upgrade. Going to scroll down to Interior Decals. I'm going to do a toy stand, and I'm just going to import the Eiffel Tower model for reference. Make sure you change your display view to material preview mode. Just going to open this little tab here, click SCS Tools, and hide everything I don't need. Next, I'm just going to click on this workspace here. We can see our SCS project base path. I'm just going to now change that to the mod folder. This allows us to have a clean folder which will not interfere with our mod. So we're going to go to our SCS base path and we're going to create some folders. We're going to create a vehicle folder. We're going to create a truck folder, an upgrade folder, interior decals folder, toy stand folder, since we're doing items specifically for the dashboard. Now in here is where we can set our files. I like to personalize my files just to make them a bit easier to find and not conflict with other mods. So I'm going to create another folder. I'm just going to call this Insonux _ Rearman, since that is the main of my model. We'll be using this folder here to put our textures. Back in Blender, head over to our model, copy your pieces. So this Control C, we can see as copy to selected objects. Switch back to the other Blender instance and paste in the model. As I say, it's already found the texture for me. However, it might not do that for you. Don't worry, because we still need to set it either way. As we can see here, compared to the Eiffel Tower, our model is way too big. So we're going to need to scale that down. If we come over to the scale tool, I'm just going to scale this right down. So in the resize here, just going to try see what 0.01 does. See, that's a bit too small. Let's bring that up a bit. Probably just a bit too big now. So let's try. For the moment, I am happy with this size. Essentially, what we're trying to do is mimic a size of a model that already exists. This will get us the best frame of reference before importing into game. Now we're going to create a new game object. So we're just going to click Add Root here. See, a game object has been created. And again, I'm just going to call mine instance_Rayman. I'm going to select both of my models while holding Shift and Alt. I'm going to drag it into my new game object. I no longer need my frame of reference for the Eiffel Tower, so I'm just going to right click that and delete hierarchy. Now we're just left with our model. Now, if we open up our game object, come down to one of the pieces here. So this piece is specifically for the head. If we're heading to material properties, we can see I've got a material here. However, EuroTruck will not see this. So we need to add a texture. Now, if you go to your textures for the mod, for your model, sorry, since I've got a textures folder here, we're going to take both of these textures and we're going to go back into the folder we created. That's the SCS base path, the vehicle folder, truck, upgrade, etc. into what we created before. Just going to paste our items here. Just going to rename this here, just to give it a better name. For the next part, we need to convert these textures. So we cannot use PNG or DDS files or anything like that. However, we can use .tga files, which Blender will recognize. So I'm just going to open these in paint.net. This file, save as, .tga, save that, click OK. And the same with the Rayman head. Do this for as many textures as you have. They must be in .tga format. We're just going to close down there. Back in the folder, delete the existing textures you had for the PNG files. So you're only left with your .tga files. Back in Blender, we're going to click the piece. As you can see here, it is highlighting the head. On the material properties, make sure you're selected on your material. Scroll down. On your shader presets, for a basic texture, we're just going to use diff.spec. Next, we can see we now have a base material here, but there's no texture selected. Just going to open up our folder here. Head to your SCS space path folder. Through the vehicle, truck, upgrade, interior decals, toy stand, and mine's the Rayman folder. I can see my textures here. So the Rayman head. Once that's selected, underneath we have mapping. This is your UV mapping. This will take the direct UV map from Blender. So since I've already set this up here, here's my UV map. Once that's selected, we can go up into here. And we're just going to select Add Vertex Colors to All. You can see the head now has a texture assigned correctly. We also have some additional properties here. For a very basic texture, I'm just going to click this one here and bring this white color here all the way down to black. And for now, I'm going to turn off the shininess, just put that to 0. You can play around with these options just to see what you prefer for the texture. It's entirely up to personal preference. Just for the tutorial's sake, I'm going to leave them with these. If you have multiple materials up here, make sure you click each one and apply the texture. Change the settings to whatever you need. And of course, if it asks you to change the vertex colors, click apply. You need to do this for each piece you have. So again, on my next piece, back on the materials tab, have my material here. Going to scroll down on the shader presets. Going to click the diff.spec. And we're going to select our texture again. So again, just to recap, your SCS base path, vehicle, truck, upgrade, interior decals, toy stand, and mine's Rayman. Just going to click my body texture. Again, make sure you apply your UV map and add vertex colors to all. I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to turn this texture here to full black, and I'm going to remove the shininess. However, play around with the options here, get familiar with them, and choose the exact materials that you want. If you have more complex textures, there are other options. Feel free to play around there and get familiar, as they may find a better option that you may want to use. For the tutorial's sake, we're just going to keep this very simple and basic. Now, I'm happy with my model. Click onto your game object, come down to Object Properties, go into SCS Parts. If this is empty, make sure to hit the plus. For SCS Variants, make sure you hit the plus again, and the same for SCS Looks, click the plus. Still clicked onto your game object, hit Output Properties, come down to SCS Export. I've got mine onto Selection. Going to hit Export. If you see the model, you are clicked onto the right item. Hit Enter, and now that has exported the PIM file. Next, we need to convert this for U-Truck and American Truck can understand the format. So in the SCS Conversion Helper, I'm just going to hit the Clean button here. And we're going to make a mod folder. Click the magnifying glass here. Obviously, if you're using U-Truck, click U-Truck or American Truck. Hit OK. It should direct to your mod folder. If it does not do this, you can select it manually here. Next, we're going to give the mod a name. I'm just going to put mine as Rayman for now. The packing method, I'm going to choose folder. I'm going to have clean ticked, export ticked, and convert. So just going to hit pack mod. If you get packing done, you have been exported correctly. So next, let's head over to the documents folder. Mine's Eurotruck, and obviously my mod folder. We can see our folder has now appeared. Mine is called Rayman. Now in here, I can see I have my PMD file and the PMG, have my material files, and of course my texture. For correct formatting, we're just going to move the PMD and PMG files. So I'm just going to cut these, go through the vehicle, truck, upgrade, etc. and paste the items here. Next, we're just going to go back to the root folder. We need to create def files so the game knows where to look for the files. So, create a new folder, call it def. Inside there we have vehicle. And since we are working with Addon hookups here, we're going to create a folder called Addon _ hookups. Just before the Addon hookups folder here, we're going to create a new file. It's going to right click, click new. Let's make a text document. You want to call this file Addon _ hookup _ storage dot whatever you want to call it, such as I called mine Rayman .sii. Then go inside the SII file. Inside this file, if you just want to write the following, and put this to the side for now. Inside the Addon hookups folder, we're going to create another file. Again, you can call this whatever you want. However, since I'm only doing one model for now, I'm just going to stick with Rayman .sui. Back in your text editor, on the file that we were previously using, inside the @include, inside the speech marks you made, type Addon _ hookups, put a /, and as you can see, we're just navigating to this folder. So Addon hookups, inside here we have the file we just made, which is for me Rayman _sui. Just going to hit Ctrl S. We no longer need this file, so I'm just going to close that. Inside the Rayman.sui folder, we're going to copy the following code: the accessory _hookup _int _data, have your space, colon space, the name of the mod, then .addon hookup, the following naming conventions. For the next part, have open brackets, like you would if you were do if you were programming. First, we have the name of the mod. This is the name you'll see in game. The price of the mod, so this is how much it will cost to buy the item in game. The unlock, which is the level you can unlock the item from. The icon, this is the picture you can see in the truck shop before you buy the item to know what you're going to purchase. Suitable for defines where this item can be found. For example, I only want this to be available on tables, so I use the set _ dashboard to make sure that's a possibility. Otherwise, you could use this item anywhere it accepts Addon hookups. We'll need to use the look at the mod here. Remember, we set this in Blender. If you forgot, back in Blender, click the game object, go into object properties, and we can see we have the variant set here alongside with look. We left them as default, so that's what we had put here. we have the model, which is the file path from the root to get to the PMD file. Then we have the collision file. We have not made one for this mod, so we're just going to leave that empty. And we're going to end with a closing curly bracket. Mimic this in your own file. You do not need anything that is highlighted in orange here. These are purely comments to make it easier for you to understand what each line means. So a finished file would look like this. We're just going to save that. Now we're going to head into game and load the mod. Go into your mod manager. As you can see, here's my folder here, the one called Rayman. Just going to continue to load that. Now on game, just going to go to the truck shop. Just going to edit my interior here. Going to have a look on the table. Going to search for Rayman. We can see it's missing an icon here, but we have not set this yet. Just going to click on that. And as you can see, our model is now in game. So with our model in game, you can check the position, the size, see if you like it or not. If you are happy with the size, that's great, you're pretty much done with this. If you are not happy with the size and location, you will have to edit this again in Blender. If you do want to do that, follow these simple steps first to make it a bit easier for you. First, head back to your mods folder. Obviously mine was in Rayman. We are going to make a copy of the def file. We're going to go back for our Blender files and go to the SCS space path. Here we're going to right click and paste that def file. We do this as anything in this file here, or in this folder, will replace everything in here as soon as we export again in Blender. I'll go back in Blender. We're going to select the pieces. Don't select the game object, select the pieces only. I'm just going to rotate that a bit to make that look more towards me in my truck. If I'm happy with this, we're just going to export the game object again. And we're just going to hit pack mod. With that packed, we can go back to our mods folder. We need to move these PMD files back into the same location as the textures. Go back into game. We're going to quickly reload the game. So we're just going to open up our console and type the word game. And your game will reload to the last autosave that was made. So if we quickly check that. We can see Rayman is now looking towards me. If you do have any problems with this, I have a Discord server linked in the description of my video. If you want to head over to the Ask for Help section, make a post. I'll try my best to help you in there. Try provide as much details as possible, as I can only help based on the information that you provide, such as screenshots. You may have errors in the console that are related to your mod. Make sure to provide as much information as possible. With all that being said, thanks for watching.